In the new place. Let's go live. Here we go. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, for this week's MMA Huddle. Welcome one and all to another edition. As you can see, new surroundings. It will be like this for a month or so, and then everything will change over again. I am just quickly popping out the social medias. Just let people know to join in there. There it is. Let's quickly pop that on. Boom, boom. Here we go. And let's get the stream up. I hope everyone is well, as we've had a little break. I won't lie, I did welcome the break. It was a nice relief to get off social media kind of shenanigans and have a little break from podcasting, doing the whole tape study. It was nice to get away from it all. I had a bank holiday weekend, as everyone else did. In the US, I believe it's Memorial Weekend. In the UK, it's I can't be fucked working weekend. I've not got work on Monday, so that's what we all do. We don't work, so it was great. Had a bit of time off. Didn't do tape study. Sorry, didn't do anything for the podcast tonight. Pumped for the weekend. Back to fights. Let's go. Yeah, absolutely, brother. It's great to have it going again. I'm absolutely pumped for the fights to be back. I did enjoy the week off, don't get me wrong. It was nice to just a long bank holiday weekend with no fights on. It was just good. It was good, you know. I got to get, let's say, family time in. That was the main thing. Family and friends all goes down. We have Rozenstruik versus Sakai happening this weekend coming up. Big, massive heavyweight bout between two very good heavyweights in that division. You've got a handful of good fights on the card. Before, though, if we talk quickly, last week we had Cody going again with an L in his career. Another loss for Cody against Rob Font. Rob Font's performance was superb, let's say. He absolutely outclassed him. Cody just didn't have the answers. And I was really impressed. I was really happy to see how well Rob did. I think he's a great guy. He's a potential now perennial contender. He'll probably have one more fight before he gets a title shot, of course, because the way Peter Yan's going with Aljamain Sterling, you've got a couple of guys in that mix. So I don't know who they're gonna throw next at him. But like I said, we've got the Rozenstruik and Sakai fight coming up. Join in with the picks that you have and who you think are going to win. I'd always like to hear your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to have your back. Of course, I'm hoping over the course of the evening, numbers will start going flying up as usual. I know it's not a Monday, so people might not be on tonight as they would be normally. The regulars, let's say, the regular boys, the regular lads in night. But I think the biggest talking point is Tyron Woodley is facing that Paul Logan, what the hell's his name again? Logan Paul? I think it's that. Or Paul Logan. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely raging. How are you doing, brother? You have made it early. I won't lie. I have done it a bit later, only because I just need to get some little bits done. Usually I start about 8, so I'm usually about an hour. But I started a bit later today. I'm trying to decide what the kind of optimal time is for all viewers, because you've got UK and stateside effectively as the majority of the viewers on here when the live streams go out there. So I'm trying to find the kind of in the middle ground. Obviously, I can't do it at midnight because I just want to get some sleep. But you know, kind of 8 to 9 is the kind of range I'm aiming for. Definitely raging. I hope you're doing well, man. I hope everything's going well with you. I hope you're looking forward to the fights, and can't wait to see who you're picking, brother. US based, you see. Yeah, there you go. 4 p.m. Perfect time to tune in, take a break from work. There you go, bro. Nice. I like it, man. Well, it's UK here, see. So we're 9 o'clock. So right now, but I'll tell you what. I'll try to keep it in mind with US times. I'll do it because obviously you've got the East Coast and West Coast, and obviously the West Coast time zone is it 7? I think there's 7 hours difference. So that's what I mean. It was hard work. When I was doing the interviews, when I was doing fighter interviews as well, I was interviewing fighters who were based in California, and it was 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock interviews in AM. I was absolutely goosed. So to put it politely, it wasn't the strongest interviews, but I just did them to get the minutes under the clock, get that ring time under, learn the skills. Hopefully, I don't know if I'll do interviews this month. I am going to get back to doing the interviews, guys and girls. So if there's people out there you want me to interview fighters-wise, or if there's anything you want me to try and people get on to discuss topics, feel free to let me know. But I am going to get back to the interview game, whether I'm based here or when I get to the new place, which is next in about 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks time. Anyway, let's jump into the card and let's break down this fight card, guys, because I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure that a lot of you are. So we've got a £155 bout to kick things off on this card. I'm going off Tapology's structure of the fight card. I might be wrong, it might be right, who knows. Jordan Leavitt against Claudio Puelles. Now, I'm going to say Puelles because I'm not South American, so I can pronounce it correctly. You know what? Claudio's done pretty well considering, like, you know, he's 2-1 in the UFC. His first debut was against Martin Bravo, who in his own right has shown that he's a tough, tenacious, hard-hitting guy, and he does a lot of good stuff. And then Claudio got that crazy, like, out of the hat kind of win over Felipe Silva with a knee bar. Other than that, he was getting kind of murked up. And then he got a nice decision win against awful guy in Marcos Maryna, who was, I believe, Anderson Silva's training partner. He wanted him to get him in the UFC to fight. And it was a bit of a mixture of lay and pray. And he was on his back as well, but it was a pretty low level. But to be fair, kudos to the kid. He's got 2 wins in his UFC career so far. He's going up against a guy, though, who I think is going to have a really tough problem with. Jordan Leavitt. Came in and Dana White Contender Series, fought Luke Flores, had a solid performance at the triangle choke early on. Then he goes to face Matt Wiman. Perfect entry to the UFC. Someone like Matt Wiman, who was definitely past his best, definitely not in the UFC caliber range. Got him with a slam. Beautiful technique as well, though, when you watch it back. Like, Matt Wiman at any point could have just let go of this. He could have just stood up and they could have carried on striking. But for some reason, Matt Wiman kind of kept hold of that takedown. Jordan kind of moved him towards his corner, which was spot on to do. Put the elbow over the cross on the chin, and as he went down, knocked him out cold. 44 seconds, easy pickings, easy money, off he goes. So early on in his tenure, he's not had too much to do, Jordan, but if you look at his resume outside of the UFC, fighting on the likes of Gladiator Challenge, he's fought on BCMA promotions, LFA, he's fought a handful of different ones. Wicked submission game. Likes to get, if he'll get fights, if guys want to go to the ground, he's happy to go there. Claudio, for me, I thought his top game wasn't overly strong. He had a couple of chances in his last fight with submission wins against Marcos. Like it was a Kimura, not a Kilo. It was a Kimura. Had a couple of opportunities, really, where he should have been finishing those kind of submission attempts. It looked like he had the hold in the positions. I thought he gave up his position as well. When he was on top, he lost it. I didn't think he was the strongest heavy top game. I feel like his submissions isn't quite where it needs to be. But again, with Claudio, if you can put the pressure on like Felipe did in the first 2 rounds, he definitely weltered. He just kind of started to slow down. His striking was a bit sloppy. He started cardio-wise. He didn't have it. He's open to takedowns. I think you're going to see Jordan get the takedown in. I think you're going to see Jordan get a submission. I would hesitate to say like you're going to see potential takedown from like maybe get to like side control, work his way to a head and arm choke, and off he goes into side control and finish that fight off. I think Claudio's going to get submitted here. I'll give him benefit of doubt. I'll say second round, but I think Jordan can maybe get it done the first. I think there's a bit of a difference here between the level of skills between the two of them. I'm just not uber high on Claudio's skill set. I just think he got a fluky little win against Felipe Silva when he was getting kind of mauled, really. He was kind of getting battered into the ground at one point. He just kind of went for that Hail Mary, let's say, and it bloody worked for him. 145 division next. Okay, I'm just going to quickly make down a note of the times, as always, guys and girls. We have Sean Woodson against Youssef Zalal. I like this match a lot, guys, you know, because I'm super interested to see how Sean Woodson comes back after his defeat to Julian Erosa. I can't even believe he got stopped in that fight, man. It's just weird, man. Anaconda choke. He just kind of walked into it a couple of times, set himself up for it, and just got stopped. But you shouldn't have a problem with Sean. Sean shouldn't have a problem with Julian Erosa. He should be stopping those Erosas, you know. It was weird. Man, it was disappointing. Don't let me take it away from Julian Erosa. He had a performance that was worthy of the win. But I was disappointed the way he performed. I think here it's going to be a hard one to judge because you're going to have Zalal, who's going to be very much on the back foot. He's going to be picking shots, coming in, bursting with a kind of combination and walking away. Woodson here might apply the similar kind of style he had against Kyle Bosniak, even though the height difference isn't quite the same as Kyle. But if you watch Sean fight there, he had the knees to the body whenever Kyle was coming in. I think Zalal's kind of style, where it's not Wonderboy, yes, but even Machida, where it's bouncing forward and back. He comes in, a couple of shots and goes. I think Woodson might need to apply that kind of striking here with the knee to the body, kind of hit the well, slow it down, and try to catch Zalal over time and close the cage off. Again, it's not easy to close the cage off, but you saw with Woo Choi, he was able to put a nice amount of pressure in the cage onto Youssef. He was able to get him against the cage, bit of dirty grappling, bit of dirty boxing. Everyone who's tuned in so far, great to have you all in. Feel free to give the video a like and give us your picks, guys, on the fight card and what you're looking forward to fights-wise. Not just this card, any other fights coming on. Yeah, so for me, I think Youssef has got to be, when he's moving around on the ground, on his back foot, I'd like to see a bit more the jab used to kind of keep that distance away, because at the moment he seems to run back. A lot of the fighters aren't using, there's no fear. Zalal's not hitting you hard to deter you away. So for me, Woodson's got a chance here. He'll come forward, Woodson. He'll just kind of plod forward, use that hands. He's got good hands in him. He's got a flying knee that he likes to throw as well, as we know. And I think he'll definitely try to apply that against someone like Youssef Zalal. And I think the reason why he'll use the flying knee is because it's a great move itself, just to close distance. It's not often you get stopped. You had, well, I was going to say, Arlovski. Did Arlovski get stopped by Fedor with a flying knee, or was it a Superman punch Arlovski went for Fedor with an affliction? There's not many flying knees that go Pete Tong. Yeah, Zalal hasn't seemed to improve fight to fight in a noticeable way, in my opinion. Yeah, he's definitely got a template in which he fights, and I think if you can figure that template out, you can nullify his style of fighting, and that's what I'm saying, Deadly Rage. I think that he needs to put something on that footwork when he's coming with the combinations and he steps away the angles, he tries to circle off. He needs to add something in there. He needs to throw the jab. He needs to have, or maybe throw an extra combination just to catch people out, because he seems to be going back to the well over and over again. But what happens is people are figuring out he's not that dangerous. Then you can close him down quickly. You can get the grappling going. He doesn't like getting on the cage. He gets a bit stuck on the ground. He's not so bad. I like to see a bit more movement on the ground when he's on his back. But overall, I kind of see Woodson here being able to get something out of this now. I don't think it's going to be a grappling exchange at all. I think it's going to be a lot of striking base. But I think Woodson will use the footwork to close him down. He's got the nice boxing, nice long range, crazy long range. I think he'll use those knees when Zalal's coming in and land some of those good knees, creative little movement. So I'm probably going to go for Sean Woodson here. I think he definitely probably get a decision win. I don't see it being a scrap. I think, Zalal's going to try to avoid as much of it as he can with the kind of tap and go, get his points on the board, and off he goes now. So that's what I'm kind of seeing in the fight. If it's a grapple fest, I'll be absolutely astonished. Go to 125. Oh, here we go. Off subject. Before I jump into the NBC off subject, what do you think of the tough premiere tonight? Any names to look out for? Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, do you know what? I forgot. It's tonight, isn't it? Mate, when we get a bank holiday weekend, I know it's only one day, an extra day off work. I'm out. I forget. I don't even know my arse from my elbow, brother. I'm terrible with this. Jesus Christ. It is tonight, isn't it? Do you know what? There was some names I saw, and I was looking forward to checking it out. Let me get the back up again, the list. What are we doing here? Season 29, season 29. How crazy is that? Wow. That is... I don't know how many of you guys remember the early days of it, but it's... Wow. It's pretty... The earlier versions I love. They're a bit more raw. That's for me, though. I enjoyed the earlier versions of it. There were some great names. Look at this. The team, Zalowski's team. Volkanovski, Brian Ortega. You've got bantamweights Daniel Arguto, Brady Hindstand, Dustin Lampros. You've got Vince Murdoch. Vince Murdoch's in there. Okay. Nice. All right. This is an interesting little list of names. You've got Joshua Rettinghouse, Mitch Raposo. Great. Here we go. Right. I've got to pronounce this one out. Ludwig Schalanen, Ricky Tulkos, these are bantamweights in middleweight division. You've got Aaron Phillips, Andre Petrovsky, Brian Battle, Ryder Newman, Trezen Gore, you know, Miles Hunsinger. Now that's not this. He's not related to him, is he? Kemran Lakanov and Gilbert Urbina. Hang on a minute. Why is that name ringing a bell here? Let me have a little look here. Like I say, you know, I forgot Tough was on, guys. I don't know how many of you guys are looking forward to it, but I'm looking forward to it. I feel the only reason I was paying attention was because Ricky Tudos is an old training partner of mine. Nice, bro. Honestly, I'm terrible for this. Here we go. Gilbert Urbina. There we go. Let's have a look here. 25, 6'3". Sean Brady. I knew I recognized Gilbert's name. Fought Sean Brady in 2018 in LFA. I must have watched him on tape study when I was watching Sean Brady. Lost the decision there. Yeah, I thought I liked the look of him back when Urbina was fighting Sean Brady. I thought it was a cracking wee fight between them two. They had a great one. Vince Murdoch is one name I like. I think he's a cracking wee fighter. I really do. I know he lost in the Contender Series to Lucius Saldana, but I still think I still rate him as a fighter. I think Vince Murdoch's a cracking wee go. And there is, what was the other name I like the look of? I think Aaron Phillips was another one I like the look of as well when I was looking at when I saw the initial names when it popped out. But I've got to be honest with you, I didn't expect Kelvin Gastelum to do as well as he did even now to this day. So I'm saying this, but man, it's so hard. It's so easy to get things wrong with it. But yeah, man, they're a couple of names I'd go for. Like, gosh. Uriah Hall, you know, he was meant to be the dog's bollocks in MMA, you know, and it didn't work out for him at all. It went very wrong. So don't take what I say for granted, guys. I didn't predict some of the guys to win tough. I thought Uriah Hall's a good fighter, don't get me wrong. I just feel like he's too inconsistent, and I think it's a psychological warfare for him to get in there. So, yeah, there's a couple of guys in that. But tough son, do you know what? I don't know if I'll watch it. What I started doing for several years now, because I got a little bit bored, was I just read up on who won, and then I'd watch the fight. If it was a good fight, I'd watch it. If they talked about it being a good fight, I'd just watch it the next day on MMA Core or something. But yeah, that's what I'd normally do. Yeah, they thought Hall was going to be dethroned Anderson. They thought he was going to be the next Anderson he was going to be the next undefeated king for the longest time. But it went obviously pretty south for him now. I don't rate Uriah Hall too greatly. But in the 125 division, we got here we go, Maryna Moroz against Marion Fiorot. Fiorot. Do you know what? I can't do these French names, or not all foreign names, but Marion was superb. I thought she had a great. When me and Will watched the tape study, we both talked about like her striking's pretty decent. You know, watched her on UAE Warriors. She had some good fight, and she fought on EFC as well. So she had like the two pretty good, decent, high kind of level promotions. Her striking's dead on. She got the head kick stoppage as well against Victoria Leonardo. She definitely looked like levels above against her. Like, it didn't even look close. It was embarrassing. I'm super high on Fiorot. Yeah, she just seems violent, which is severely lacking in that division. Yeah, it does feel like the 125 division is all about points, and that is it. It's like, it's a bit of a safety net. It's weird. 135, you get your finishes. 115, you get more finishes. But 125, each girl that goes in there, it's like they're just playing for the judges almost sometimes. I know what you mean by the violence thing. You do need a bit of that. And that's why I'd like to see Joanna Jacek come back and be 125 and not 115. I'd like to see her compete at 125, see how she is in division, have a few fights if she gets there to maybe get another title shot. Shevchenko might not even be about since that in that time. But yeah, Marion's a crackingly aggressive striker. She's got a good output. I thought she was doing solid in that fight. I felt like her power was there. Her choice of strikes was really interesting. She is fighting a hard-nosed girl, though, in Moroz. Like, Moroz is hard-nosed. Oh, God, that girl. Great conditioning. Solid 3 rounds in her. And like you say, she hasn't stopped anyone since JoJo, I believe. Yeah. Last fight she had, last stoppage she had was 2015 against Joanne Calderwood. Oh, my word. Since then, it's just been decision, all the way up the card, you know. And the Sabina Moroz decision, that was a good one. I was impressed with that decision. I was impressed with that performance. She just showed maturity. She showed kind of veteran status. She just picked the right shots, just outclassed her in that fight, just kind of had every answer she needed. The Bueno Silva, I kind of was hoping or thinking she'd beat someone like that. I thought Bueno Silva's not really kind of her level. I think she'll have a tough one here. I do see this being a pretty good war. I think Moroz is going to have to take the veterans style here, pick the shots, engage the takedowns, maybe engage a bit of grappling, just to kind of balance the fight out. I don't want to see her. I don't want to see Marion trying to, Moroz trying to like outpower in the striking department. I don't think she will. I think she's got to be smart here. I think she needs to engage the grappling aspect. I know that that Marion's had some wins via ground and pound. Let's have a look here. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. What about Rashid Bateman? RWM00. Right, bro. Yeah. Well, I'll just quickly finish on this one. I was just going to wrap up on the breakdown here, brother. Is that basically I think Moroz will win it. I just feel that I think that she's just going to do a veteran move. I really do. I just think that she's going to be absolutely phenomenal in this. And, yeah, I just don't see any problems with it. I think she'll be absolutely golden. I think veteran move. She's going to get the win. And I think we're all good. Rashid Bateman, isn't he an NFL player? Like, he's like a young NFL player. Was he selected in the draft or something? Or let's have a look here. He is, isn't he? A young NFL kid. There you go. I thought I bloody recognised it. I like my NFL, ladies and gentlemen. If anyone doesn't know already, I love my NFL. When it comes to the draft, here we go. Look at this kid. Baltimore, 21 draft. Here you go. Round 1. Yeah, prospect pick. Dude's got good stats. That kid is good. Overview is good. Yeah. Performed really well, actually. Yeah, I like the fact. Looking forward to see what the kid can do. I love seeing wide receivers coming to the NFL, young kids, big time. Big ginger lad out of Dublin as well. Oh, right, here we go. Yeah, he's got big promise. Rashid Bateman, wide receiver, cracking we play in the NFL. He's going to be. But I'm going to go with, Moroz. I think that she's just got the, 27 bit. Yeah, it is still, it is. But Ravens, they've had a bit of a transition. Joe Flacco going. You need that leadership in there at the quarterback position, and that's something that, that they got. But I feel like they're still finding themselves. They're still. You've got to remember they had a team for Joe Flacco, and that was what the team was built around, his style of play. You get yourself a new quarterback. You still got to mold your team. You got a couple of draft picks. Just got to fix the team to meet your quarterback. Same with the San Diego Chargers. We got Herbert last season, came along, had a decent, very, very good rookie year. But again, this draft got the right offensive line. That's what we're looking towards. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm thinking. Thanks to hope Lamar can do the business. Lamar's a great player, mate. Lamar's a great player. I think at quarterback, he can do a lot of stuff. But he's got a lot of potential. They just need to get the right team, a style around him. For us and Herbert, we've got the protection we need now for him. So I feel like he's going to be able to get a bit more confidence, having a fraction of a second longer as a quarterback is a huge thing in the gap. We've got the offense. We should be good for scoring points. It's just at the other end we need to stop people scoring them against us. Otherwise, going to get our asses kicked. 155 division. All right, here we go. We got Alan Patrick is taking on Mason Jones. Now, I will do my best to not have a slight bias in this one. 37-year-old Alan Patrick, you know what you get with him. He's a solid fire. Don't get me wrong. I think he's got pretty bang average striking, but he's a very good lay and play kind of fighter. Scott Holtzman was able to nullify the takedowns, get the striking on top, start to wear him down. Bobby Green, I've always said underrated takedown defense, showed him that expert kind of veteran move there. Did great work. Mason Jones makes his debut against Mike Davis. Had a bit of a war. I feel like my only worry was Mason was he does tend to let himself. I think he lets himself get hit once or twice more than he should do. I think I've seen a lot more from him that he could be a bit more evasive. In that fight, he definitely could have been more evasive and missed out on getting hit so much. Mason Jones all day. Alan Patrick is too limited and Mason is too well-rounded. Mason, I love Mason a bit. I'll actually probably drop my message in a bit to kind of wish him luck with the fight and stuff. But we all need, well, I'll rephrase that. Mason needs to simply just avoid takedowns, pick his striking. I think his misses does the Taekwondo training with him, helps with his dexterity. He's got wicked kicks. I would keep them for another day. I wouldn't waste my time with kicks unless he's going for calf kicks. That is the only time I'd bother using them. I would particularly be cautious about when I use them. I'd use them sparingly in the first round and then see how tired or how effective Alan Patrick is. But I wouldn't be overly aggressive with my leg kicks. I'd certainly be taking my time with it and being careful with it. Mason doesn't have to worry too much about the striking prowess of Alan Patrick. He can definitely avoid quite a lot of that with this because I feel Alan's strike is nowhere near. It's just the grappling aspect. How's the conditioning for Mason Jones? How is he going to handle that battle for the underhooks on the cage, the double leg takedowns? Does he get discouraged? Does he get, that's all it is. And I think it's a litmus test is if you can get past Alan Patrick with his grappling, you can start to then look towards developing your skill game. Because Alan Patrick's very good at what he does. There's no denying, though. Damir Hadzovic, Stevie Ray, Damian Brand, John Medeski, he has fought guys in the UFC for a while, and he has done well against them. Tysonov is just a freaking beast. Mirabak Tysonov, missing that dude fight. The original Tysonov, don't know what happened to him after his little gap, his hiatus. But at 37, it does come, age does affect people. Maybe his style is useful for his age, but I don't know how well it's going to play out. I'm going to go with Mason Jones on this one. There is a slight bias to it, but I'm trying to think. Alan Patrick doesn't land too much damage. The way the judging scored these days, it doesn't tend to do you too well. I think if Mason just gets up off his feet or starts the round strong with the combinations, as long as he can land more damage, I think you might see a decision win for Mason, but it's going to be hard. It is going to be a hard fight. It's a tough one. He's going to have a really, really tight one here. But, I'm going to believe in the kid. I think he's got a hell of a lot of talent. Great skill set, Mason Jones. Awesome wee fighter. And he's such a great guy. Next up, we have in the 170 division, Francisco Trinaldo. He's about 222 years old now, coming in to fight. His 700th fight in his MMA career. And he's fighting Muslim Salikhov. Salikhov is a really deceptively powerful striker, likes to do spinning kicks and powerful strikes, and he's just really calm in the way he fights, Salikhov. And he's fighting a guy in Trinaldo who obviously stopped Jai Herbert with an insane overhand left, caught Herbert right off guard. But Herbert had a great fight though. Let's not take that away from him. As much as Trinaldo put a performance in to get that stoppage, I feel like Jai Herbert had a great fight. I thought he'd done well in that fight against a veteran of the UFC and a veteran of the game. Trinaldo is on a free fight win streak. But when you look at the guys he does lose to, you can see that there's, Kevin Lee, James Vick, which is mental. Alexander Hernandez, he's lost to some athletic, kind of quick, powerful guys. Michael Chiesa is another one. He's lost to certain guys in certain ways. Explosive, quick, powerful dudes kind of affect him. This is another one. My biggest thing is I wonder how Muslim's going to get, if he can get taken down. He already has before by Alex Garcia and got rear naked choked. If he gets taken down and if he can defend the takedowns as well, because that's all Trinaldo will be interested in. Trinaldo's going to go for the takedowns if he can, get the fight down. Then he'll just plod. Now, that does play into Salikhov's kind of style. Salikhov is explosive, calm, explosive movement. He's got a guy in Trinaldo who probably won't move out of the way too much. Definitely, I don't like Trinaldo moving up to 170. His usual advantage is size and strength is largely nullified. I think just at 42 years old, it's not happening. That cut for the dude is just not there anymore. He just can't do it. I think he does try it. I think it's probably too much for him. He doesn't enjoy the weight cut down there. He weighed at 160 in the last one, and he's missed weight a couple. Has he missed weight a couple of times anyway? I think it's one of them ones where for him, 42, it's not getting any easier. He's a thick set guy. He's probably just thinking, I've got a couple of fights left in me. I'm not going to get a title fight, but it's takedowns he needs to get. It's going to be hard to get the takedowns. He's got a guy who likes a bit of an explosive movement of striking. Trinaldo's caught me out a couple of times in these fights, so it's hard to write him off because he's got a chin. He's not got, Kevin Lee wobbled Kevin Lee and almost stopped him. He's got moments in him that he can put trouble into anyone's ballpark. So I think Muslim's going to have to be kind of smart about this. Be patient. Just get to the second, third round, then start to use your kind of explosive movements. But when he starts to do spinning back kicks or spinning elbows, Trinaldo might then take advantage to try and go for the takedowns and get on top and lay and pray. But I'm going to go here with Muslim Salikhov. I think he can get a win. Again, 170 definitely raging is one of the big factors there. Size and power does then start to waver towards your opponent who is naturally walking around in that weight class. But yeah, that's who I'll pick on this one. But we're going to go up to the heavyweight division now. So we've got quite a few heavyweight fights on this card, and this is the first one going on here. Tanner Boser against Ilir Latifi, the horseback riding sledgehammer from Sweden. He stopped doing heavyweight. Stopped doing light heavyweight. He's just gone to heavyweight. I think it's an awful matchup for him. Honestly, I do. I think Boser is like an athletic version of Latifi. I think he's, small, kind of looks small for the weight class. Tanner doesn't look huge in the weight class to me. He's like 230 pounds. He's like a light version of the heavyweight. He's in the lower echelon. And for me, Latifi's just slow. I know he got sitting against Derek Lewis, which was, kudos to him. And he weighs 240 odd pounds, 246 pounds when he goes in there. But I just don't think Latifi's going to be quick enough, athletic enough. I don't think he's going to have the cardio for it. I just don't know what Latifi's going to offer for me at heavyweight. He wasn't renowned to have knockout power in his hands at light heavyweight. He got a choke against OSP. Sean O'Connell, I wouldn't even count that as a win. Handstringer again. No. Cyril Diabate. Jeez, I remember meeting Cyril Diabate. Bloody no, that's going back a while, isn't it? He's not known for his hands. So I don't know where Latifi wins here. I just don't see it. I think Tanner's going to get a win. I think he probably stops Latifi. I think he stops him. I think he gets to finish. I think he can stop him any way he wants, but I think he'll stop him with his hands. I think he'll just be too quick, too powerful, just throwing too much in his face. I think Latifi's not going to be able to kind of react in time to it either. I'm just easy pick for me, that one. If you guys think any other different views, if you think Latifi's got a chance, he comes into the cage on horseback with a shield and sword maybe, but I can't see it happening. Not a chance. We're going up next to the 125 division for the women. We have Montana Della Rosa taking on Ariane Lipski. Now, Lipski, as we know, is bonkers because she can pull out a knee bar and at the same time get ground and pounded by Antonio Shevchenko. So she's unpredictable, let's say, because with the Shevchenko fight with Lipski, it was like it should be a stand-up battle, but Shevchenko knew that Lipski has a bad problem off the back. Montana Della Rosa, all that girl wants to do is get on top. That's all Della Rosa needs. She has to get on top of you. So, there's not much in her. There's not much else about her skill set. I don't think striking's anything to write home about. She beat Nadia Kasim. Honestly, having that on your record is embarrassing. She's gopping. She beat Rachel Ostovich, again, another fighter who's... Yeah. Christina Marks, who, she lost to Nico Montana. Gosh, who else is she? She's all about the submission game, and she's going to fight a girl who is known for her violent striking. In Lipski, for me, Lipski just needs to learn to stop a takedown. It's not exactly rocket science. It's not difficult to learn takedown defense. If anything, it's easier just to learn the defense rather than the offense. Because with the offense, it's very difficult when you get someone who's got a solid base and they've got at least one underhook. They do that, then you have to start chain wrestling from your singles to your doubles. Everything starts to get more and more complex. I can't see Lipski doing much on the ground if she gets taken down. I think she'll just have to hope and ride it out to the end of the round. I don't grab onto her, hold on for dear life that she doesn't get submitted. Because I can't see Della Rosa really ground and pounding her to a decision either. I'm going to go to Lipski because every fight starts on the feet. Yeah, I've got to go Ariane. I've got to go Lipski. I think she can stop her. I think she can actually hurt Montana Della Rosa. I've seen Montana get absolutely lit up a few times. And I think when Lipski starts smelling blood, when she does get that chance, she is deadly. If you watch her fights in the past, she smells blood. She's on you. She clinches. She ends up throwing great overhand elbows. So I'm going to go with Lipski on this one. But again, gosh, I would not quote me on who's going to win. I'm just picking it because I'm not overconfident on my Montana Della Rosa. I just don't think she's overly exciting or even that great of a skill set. Next up we have in 145 division, it's a not last minute step in, but it is a kind of late change. Makwan Amirkhani was meant to fight Nate Landavir, which was going to be absolutely bloody mental, that fight. But you had Kamuela Kirk. Now, Kamuela Kirk, if you haven't seen him already, he's fought on LFA, and he actually lost to Billy Quintino a couple of years back on a contender series as well. And since then, he had a split decision lost on LFA. Then he went on and won 2 fights in a row. And to be honest with you, the dude looked really good. Like, those 2 fights, he looked really impressive. I was impressed by his striking, his cool calmness, his fluidity. And what was good was when he hurt someone, he didn't just do headshots. He opened up the body, ripped it apart before he even went upstairs a few times too. So he did show a great kind of variant in his striking. I think one of the issues you've got is Makwan has just fought the higher level guys for too long. He's fought the likes of Arnold Allen. He's fought Shane Burgos. He's fought Edson Barboza. It's a weird one because, again, when he fights the guys when Makwan fights the guys who are top 15, let's say, anyone who's top 15, he just can't beat them. But again, when he gets guys who are outside, let's say top 20 up, so you have, like, for example, your Andy Ogle, your Massimo Fulin, your Mike Wilkinson, your Jason Knight, your Chris Fishgold, and your Danny Henry. Every one of these guys outside of the top 20. He does the performance, and he does well. He has a great skill set. He has got decent boxing on him. He has got very good wrestling, very good Greco-Roman wrestler. He can apply a lot of skill sets to him in the fight. Obviously, he got pretty messed up against Bob Boser in that fight. He got pretty messed up in the Shane Burgos fight as well, where he got stopped. So he has been hurt quite a few times. It's just one of them ones where I feel like Makwan is never going to be titleship material. He just a bit flashy, sometimes a bit too cocky in fighting. When it doesn't go his way, when he fights the guys who are upper level, he starts to just disappear. He just fades away, Makwan. I think Kirk's going to have a tough one. I think it's going to be a hard fight to win for him. I don't think Kirk was scheduled to fight anyone else in that time as well, so I don't know what kind of training camp he's had. But I'm probably going to pick Makwan Amirkhani here, even though I'm not a big fan of his as a person, a bit smug. But I'd probably go for Makwan Amirkhani. I think he can definitely get the W here. I think he, just all round, I think he's just probably got a little bit more of a stronger skill set in this fight. Now, gosh, got to break down this fight. Here we go. Don't have a go at me, folks. So next up we have in the middleweight division is Tom Breese is taking on Antônio Arroyo. Now, Antônio Arroyo, all right, it's an okay fight. I'll be honest with you, Dana White Contender Series and the fights before that on his kind of regional scene, I thought, kid's got potential. He's got a nice little mixture of skills about him. I just don't know where he's been. Like, he's fought 195 catchweight against Duran Win. Lost the decision there. He's going to fight Tom Breese. Now, if I'm Antônio Arroyo, Tom Breese is probably the best opponent I can get at the moment because you don't know what Tom Breese is going to turn up. Psychologically, there's something going on there with him. Maybe if you get Tom Breese on his back, even though he does grappling competitions, he does not fare well at all for some reason in MMA. But Arroyo's not going to go for the takedowns. He's definitely going to be standing up and striking, kind of throwing the leg kicks that he likes to throw. Tom Breese will probably stick to a lot of his boxing. The Omari Akhmedov fight, triangle choke in the second round, it was just painful watching it again when you see Tom Breese has got everything he need for a championship winner except for the mentality. He's got the striking. He's got the power. He actually has got a fantastic grappling, aggressive, offensive side. But it seems the mental side of things actually causes him to lose the fights and let the fights go and slip away and just, like he said, anxiety, whatever it is, stage fright. I don't know what exactly he's got going on. So I always hate picking a Tom Breese fight because I'm now in that position where I'm thinking, I should win that. But what Tom Breese am I going to get? I don't know what anyone else at home is thinking about Tom Breese, but I like him, but I just don't like how he's not putting it together. And it's frustrating as a fan of MMA. You want to see the guys who have potential to be top 5 guys and the elite guys and make it great fights to reach the potential because I don't just want him to reach his potential. I want all guys to reach their potential. We can get the best fights, the best guys, and the best atmospheres and the best moments and memories in MMA. But last thing I wanted his memory to be is that he just mentally wasn't making it. 1-4, Arroyo 0-2. I'm going to go with Tom Breese. I'll just go combination of experience, time in the UFC, level of guys he's fought, and hope that he turns up. That's all I can do with Tom Breese. So sorry about that one. I can't do much more than that. It's a tough one, that one. Got another kind of middleweight bout kicking everything off here straight afterwards. Let me just quickly knock down that time. Lovely stuff. Duško Todorović against Gregory Rodrigues. Gregory Rodrigues, if you've not seen it, was on the Contender Series and he lost to Jordan Williams. Jordan Williams was the kid who fought 185 because he's diabetic. I think he's diabetic and he can't weight cut. And apparently he's going to try and go down to 180, 170, so don't ask what the hell's going on there. Duško fought against, oh my gosh, he fought Teddy Ashton in the Contender Series, won the decision. Made his UFC debut against Daquan Townsend, which is literally, that's effectively giving someone open goal in a soccer or football game, wherever you're from in the world, putting the ball on the line and just asking someone to hit the ball. Like, Daquan Townsend is about as useful as an ashtray on a motorbike. That's how good he is. So I didn't even watch the fight back because I thought there's nothing really to be impressed about or watch there. Again, watch the Sereno fight, then you start to see things come along a bit clearer. There's a hole in the game. There's striking there. Boof, he got absolutely sparked in that fight. And then you start to think to yourself, well, Gregory Rodrigues, when he fought Williams, one of the things that caught him off guard or caught him out was the aggressiveness of Duško. I hope my audio is coming across as well okay, by the way. I'm not sure what the volume kind of like because it's set up here. Hopefully the volume's okay. But for Duško, it was a case of, Gregory, he was just on the back foot. And I'm not sure he's used to fighting on the back foot from what I've watched on his tape study. It seems that when he's getting bullied a bit, he looks a bit stuck on the back foot. He didn't have, when you're an aggressive striker, it's easy enough to throw punches forward. But when you're going back, it's a skill set in itself to fight backwards. When someone's coming towards you, the check left hook as they're coming through. There's the kind of step. When you step back, a lot of guys go lateral. What you need to be doing if you're going back, it's just to change that angle slightly, so your feet aren't aligned with your opponent. You're slightly off the line, so that when their punches come, you're offset. You can come over, you can come through the side. It seemed that he just couldn't get away from Williams. Williams kind of suffocated him a bit. I think Duško here might try to do something similar with Rodrigues. He'll be quite aggressive, wailing strikes, coming close, getting the grappling exchanges. Rodrigues he's a pretty strong dude, pretty fit guy. And then the fights after that in LFA, he took care of his opponents pretty handedly. I thought the Al Matavao, whatever it is, his name, he was pretty poor anyway. But Josh Fend, is it? Fem, F-R-E-M-D. Like, what is that kid? You know what I mean? Like, the parents got lazy with their surnames. Nice striking, put the kid asleep, and the dude was legit that he was fighting, so he absolutely sparked him, and that was a good finish. So, man, looking at it, I think Duško's going to have a rough time. I think he's going to be aggressive, but I think with the aggression, it's going to kind of bite him in the ass, because I think Rodrigues, after about a couple of minutes, maybe on the cage, if they go with grappling exchanges, I think Rodrigues might start to, be able to outmuscle him and try and get him off, try and break off here, and then start to pick him apart. So I'm actually going to go with Gregory Rodrigues here, because I think I did like what I saw in him, man. I think he's got a lot about him. So, yeah, that's my pick on that one. Now, in the welterweight division, geez, how many fights are on this card? I've just noticed there's freaking loads, isn't there? We have in the welterweight division, Santiago Ponzinibbio. I can't. Do you know what? Spelling his name is an absolute pain to hoop in it. Let's be honest with you. But thankfully, he's not the main event. He's taking on Miguel Boser. Now, Miguel is 10-0, looking superb, getting that big name fight, and that's exactly what he's got. I think it's weird though, because Ponzinibbio didn't exactly have. I still think he's eligible to fight top guys. He fought Jing Liang, somehow got sparked that left hook first round and caught us all off guard. I think, Ponzinibbio losing that. He did have a break of 3 years. I think that's a big factor to take into it. For me, Ponzi going away 3 years, I think it's a bit of a rough ride, for Ponzi. I'm not saying you should give people layups. Obviously, in MMA, there's no such thing as really. You don't get warm-up fights or padded guys in the UFC. Well, you shouldn't do, but there's some guys in the UFC that are. But Miguel, man, he's done solid. Sato, perfect, wonderful performance. Matt Brown did the right thing against him. Hector Aldana, easy fighter to beat. Did exactly right. Got a couple of rounds under his belt. What's what you want? Get a bit of ring time, finish him off. Matt Brown, same thing. Got the round out, figured him out. Absolutely messed him up in the second round. And Sato, arm triangle. So now he's got this submission and striking kind of arsenal about him. Dangerous dude, Miguel. Ponzinibbio's got to be switched on. It is not going to be easy at all. Man, I hope Ponzinibbio comes back strong. NBC, I'm with you as well. I love Ponzinibbio. I think he's a cracking welterweight. I think he's a great fighter. But he's fighting a guy, Miguel, who's 10-0, flying high of confidence, feeling like he's walking on clouds. It's a hard one to come back to after getting stopped in January. It's only June. He's literally having like a 6-month gap. So if you think 6-8 week camp. So that's 2 months, 4 months off. As long as he wasn't doing any sparring for the first few months after getting stopped, hopefully that'll help him out. But he didn't even get a full round in him to get himself like shake off those cobwebs, so to speak, of that 3-year gap. And man, it's a hard one. Miguel's going to have a guy though who's a veteran of the game, fought high level dudes. Let's be honest with you. When Ponzi goes and fights like Neil Magny, he fought Gunnar Nelson, Nordine Taleb, who's a veteran as well. Zach Cummins, Court McGee. He's fought a handful of guys, Lorenz Larkin as well back in the day, Sean Strickland. Jeez Louise, that's a heck of a roster that guy's went through. He's fought tough guys. He's fought some great names. I feel like, I kind of go with experience sometimes in fights, and I feel like Ponzinibbio's nowhere near the end of his career. He's nowhere near going to tail off, even though he's had that gap in there. I don't see him just dropping off like that quick. I think Miguel's got great hands. Ponzinibbio's got to be really careful with this one, that he doesn't get stopped again. I think calf kicks are a huge one. I think I'd love to see Ponzinibbio bring them back into the game here, land those calf kicks and start applying some striking later on in the second and third round. Even maybe go some grappling, get a fight to the ground on top. But, man, it's a hard one to pick on that one because, man, Miguel is a bad motherfucker. The dude is legit. And I think he's going to be a great addition in the welterweight division for a few years. Middleweight division, though. Is it middleweight division? Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're up to middleweight division. I've one to write down. I swear to God, I'm writing so many timestamps down here. I don't think there's more timestamp than fights. Loreno Staripoli is back after losing 2 in a row against Roman Dolce. Now, obviously, it was a bit of a hype thing against Roman Dolce. Trevin Giles kind of nullified that pretty quick. And that was obviously 185. I think Roman's kind of went, I can do welterweight. I can do middleweight, as well. It's just a middleweight fight, isn't it? So it's middleweight, this one, isn't it? Yeah, it's 185 middleweight. Yeah, bloody hell. Staropoli, he's obviously he's been down at welterweight. He's 174 there, and then he fought down at 171. So he must be finding that cut pretty tough. Thiago Alves, he must have a tough time with the cut, but then again, Staropoli's not a bad fighter in himself. He's got a good little mixture of skill sets. What are your thoughts on Shamiv? Thomas Jordan, thanks very much for the question, bro. Nice to have you on the channel. I believe that's your first ever question because I tend to remember the names as best I can. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button, bro, and like the video. And, man, Shamiv, I feel it's a bit of a letdown what's going on with him having the COVID and stuff because I believe in the UK there's a woman who was in hospital for over a year with COVID. I've seen or read of stories of like Olympians who contracted it and they had a horrendous time with it. Volkanovski was another one. That's why it's been I think that's why he's mainly done tough because he had COVID, had a really bad time of it, and I think that's something they're wary of and they want to give him a bit more time to prep. So Tough's a great one for that. You see that a lot of guys they've been out for a bit. What they used to do with Tough is they'd make them into it if they're a big name, and they'd make them one of the coaches, gives them a little bit longer to recover and also train and prep for a title fight. I think COVID can hit anyone different, and with him, if he's fit and healthy, he's going to be a nightmare for guys because he reminds me. Now, don't get me wrong, Ben Askren in the UFC wasn't any good. Right? There's no beating around the bush there. But if you look at Ben Askren in his Bellator kind of heyday, is the word I want to use, before he even went to ONE FC, Ben Askren was so good at grappling, so good at wrestling. People just couldn't answer it and stop it, and he just got you down and was able to just dominate you from there. I think Shamiv is like that, but he's like an upgrade. He's got horrendous ground. Like the ground and pound is deadly. Like it looks horrible being underneath that. I think his top game control is fantastic. Reminds me of Ben Askren, but he just throws these punches and strikes that, they're so devastating to the opponent on the ground, because when you're trying to get up and you're getting hit, I think all of it combined together. He's if he can get himself back on board with things, fit as a fiddle, I think. Thankfully, being off, though, has taken away the shine, because he was being like this little golden child for Dana, and, he was getting Dana to get these fights. He was meant to fight Leon bloody Edwards, for Christ's sake. And now, I'll be honest with you, I was kind of picking Leon straight. When I heard that rumour, I was going Leon Edwards all day long. I think Leon Edwards would have just outclassed him. On the feet, Leon's quicker, striking. I think Leon Edwards, by the way, I'm not even done next week's predictions, but I think he's going to absolutely murk Nate Diaz as well. I think Leon would have had a field day with him. I think Shmeev is, I'd give him some top 15 guys, like 2 top 15 guys before you can give him a top 5. And I think he'd have a great time at 170 with them. I do like the look of him. I wouldn't bother wasting time with the 185s. I know he wants to try and... He's like, fight short notice, fight anyone, fight now, I'm ready to go. I would like Shmeev to just have a run at 170 only. Stay at the one or 185, whatever weight class he feels more comfortable fighting in. I'd like him to stick at it, and I'd like him to I'd give him 3 fights before a title fight. I think you can do it in 3. I think you can fight 2 top 15 guys, you give him 1 top 5 guy, and I think you could possibly get him in there for a title fight then, and do that in a year. If he does that in a year, that's a year of training, a year of developing. Then you give him those 3 fights, and then he'll have 4-month gap between that and a title fight. So you could definitely do it. I think he could, but I think he'd be a great addition to, he'd be hard work for someone like Kamaru Usman. But I just think with Shmeev, you need to give him a title fight after I give him 2 15s and a top 5, and then a title fight, so 4 fights. But what I'd do is I'd make those 3 fights probably 5 rounders. Hopefully they go 5 rounds. He definitely needs to get a 5-round fight under him. He can't not have a 5-round fight. But great question there, bro. Haven't really thought about it until you just kind of mentioned it. Back to the fight, though. Staropoli, he's got a good skill set. Like, he likes to throw his kicks, and but what I found is he can slow down a little bit, because throwing kicks is exhausting. I don't know how many of you have tried doing like Muay Thai or something like that, and kicking the bags and kicking pads. It is hard work. It is an exhausting effort. I think Roman here is in for a good night's work. I think he's going to get the fight to the ground and go for the grappling aspect. Staropoli hasn't fought someone like him yet with the kind of grappling aspect and the acumen. Aldana, no. Thiago Alves, no. Salikhov, not really. Timmeens, no, again. Early on in his career, there's no one there who necessarily I see as a wrestler, a grappler, especially because Staropoli's going up the weight class. I think Roman should get a W here. I don't think there should be any real issues. I think he should be able to get the grappling aspect to the ground. He should have a field day with the wrestling. Kind of take it away from there, I really do think he can do it. I think he can get like a submission win here over Staropoli. I think Staropoli's going to have a hard time getting him off the ground. I think he'll get taken down. He's not going to be able to use his striking as much as he'd like to in this fight. So, I'm going to go with that one. That's what I'm picking. Next timestamp. Bloody freaking timestamps. Here we go. We have a co-main event, I believe it is. It might change. Is Walt Harris against Marcin Tybura. Obviously, as we all know, the Walt Harris kind of outside of the cage issues that he's had. Marcin Tybura, veteran now, kind of in the UFC. Gosh, how long has he been there for? It's in 2017, 2018. Jeez, he's been there since 2016. So 5 years he's been there, and the dude has fought bloody loads. Jeez, and he's on a 4-fight win streak. Wow. Ground and pound victory over Greg Hardy in the second round. One of the best ground and pound finishes. In fact, the best ground and pound finish ever in the heavyweight division. Beating Greg Hardy. That was probably the best ever. Like, the best ever. You'll never get better than that. Unless someone else beats the shit out of Greg Hardy on the ground and does ground and pound to him. But he's on a 4-fight win streak against Walt Harris, who's lost 2 in a row. And, you start looking at it and go, well, to be fair, he did fight also over in Volkov. He lost both of them to strikes. Man, like, Walt Harris got big, long reach, nice hands, good boxing. I like what he can do with his hands. I think Todorović, slick striker. He's got good hands himself, good boxing, good kickboxer. But he's also got the grappling acumen, Marston Todorović, that I think goes under the radar. A lot of guys kind of don't really pay attention, don't really see how good his striking is. I think he's got grappling. I think he's got a really good top game when he gets on top of guys, and he can do really well there. So for me, Walt Harris, probably possibly like a make or break for him here. Let's be honest with you. I think Walt Harris needs to win big, but Tybura has just shown he's got a good chin for a heavyweight. He's durable, decent cardio on him. He's got good output. He can grind out guys for 3 rounds. Sorry, he's got a good 3-round fight in him. And the problem with the 3 rounds he's got, it's just a constant work, And I think he's just a veteran. He's got a great skill set. I'm going to go with, I'll take Walt Harris. You're going to take Walt Harris? I was going to Marston Tybura. I just think he's all-round skill set. I just think he's a stronger guy. He's all-round, the toughest fight for me to pick this weekend. But I think and hope Walt Harris comes through. That's the thing. I think that's what plays in my mind is like you want Walt Harris to win, don't you? Because of everything that happened outside of the cage. But it's awkward. It's like when I see like Mason Jones fight, I do get, the head kind of comes into it and goes skill set wise, so and so is fighting so Walt Harris. I'm like, skill set wise, but I just like him to win. It'd be nice for him to win, get a stoppage, you kind of just want something good for him to happen. But I'm going to be sticking to my guns. And I think he's going to lose the fight. I think Marston Tybura is just a smart veteran. He might get a ground and pound finish or just a decision. But I just wish good things for him. He's had a shit sandwich, hasn't he? Let's be honest with you. We're going to go to the main event, which is Rozenstruik against Augusto Sakai in the heavyweight division. Rozenstruik, who, let's be honest, the guy is all or nothing in a fight. The dude does not hold back. Sakai, he's a big dude for the weight class. And he's just like, Sakai is not, I've got to be honest, he's not overly impressive. Like the Ivanov fight, split, Arlovski, split. I wasn't overly blown away. He beat Marston Tybura himself, though, got a stoppage there. But Overeem stopped him as well. Ground and pound in the 5th round, which is crazy when you look at that. But that was Overeem just being a veteran of the sport and just really showing a great skill set and fight knowledge there to take the W. Chase Sherman beating him. I don't think there's much in that beating him. Sakai's striking. He's patient. He's got takes his time with his strikes, but he hits hard. He's got good kicks. But he's fighting a guy in Rozenstruik who doesn't hold back. He's not patient. He's quite forward coming. He's quite hot. He's quite intense, quite in your face. And dude, Rozenstruik cracks hard. Now the Cyril Gane fight, I feel like Cyril Gane is like an upgrade of Francis Ngannou in terms of skill set. I think Cyril Gane, if he start putting striking together a bit more, he could maybe be not as devastating as Ngannou, but he could definitely be a bit more devastating with his finishes. But I think that Rozenstruik, there is a hole there in his game. I think that, take away the Ngannou fight. I think if you can get Rozenstruik to the ground, you can nullify him. You can start to take things on. You can start to get the fight in your area. Or if you're good at range and distance management, you can maybe take Rozenstruik away. But Sakai's not a distant management dude. He doesn't have the footwork for it. He's bloody 250 plus pounds. He's not a bloody small dude. He's absolutely freaking huge. Sakai definitely impressed me against Overeem. Yeah, the lad won at least the first round. Yeah, first 2 rounds. Yeah, he did look good. I think obviously we've got to remember with Overeem, he's not fighting like he used to. He's fighting very different. He's trying to avoid the big guys hitting him hard. I think Sakai's going to have a tough time against Rozenstruik. I feel like Rozenstruik's just going to be super aggressive. Now, Sakai can be smart and try to clinch it up and slow the game down, put a bit of weight onto Rozenstruik and try to take a bit of pop out of the hands. But Rozenstruik's shown that, even against Overeem himself, who he was losing to, he can get finished. He can get finished, so he can get that like last minute stoppage. That tear up your lip kind of power. Rozenstruik has got that kind of one tap on your chin and you're going to sleep. So I can't look past it. Part of me kind of thinks that Sakai, he's had a few decisions. It's a main event, 5 rounds. Interesting to see how, the Rozenstruik does with the 5 rounds. He's had it against Overeem once. And, to be fair, Overeem was kind of dominating that fight up until that point. He was just able to nullify him. I think you might see something similar to the Overeem fight. I think you might see Sakai get the grappling wins, the exchanges. He might start to just, get those points over the first few rounds or 3 rounds. But I think as the big boys start to tire, the hands start to drop. I think Rozenstruik then just comes out with this explosive kind of movements, just throwing in the left hooks, coming with a little blitz of the 1-2s, etc. I think you then start to see Rozenstruik and might start catching Sakai a little bit. And I don't think Sakai's going to like being on the back foot, especially because he's not as mobile as some heavyweights are. I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to go with Rozenstruik for a stoppage in the 4th round. I reckon like kind of 4th round area. I think you definitely see him get a stoppage there. So that is where I'm going. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go crazy with. Let's go to the betting odds. Have I got the bets here? No, where's the numbers? Here they are. Boom. Oh, great. It's a bloody long card. All right. So, again, thank you all for tuning in so far tonight. Thank you all for listening and joining the conversation. It's great to have you all here. I'll take 2nd round, Rozenstruik. Here we go, NBC, 2nd round. There you go. I'm going for a little bit later. I think for me, a little bit later, we're starting a little bit more tired. If Conor loses the trilogy against Dustin, where does he go from there? Thomas popping out little questions here, mate. Look at that. You're like, go on, let's just talk, eh? Where does Conor go from there? I know. I think he will lose it. I do. I think when you... Sorry, I'm trying to get myself comfortable there. That's working. It's smooth here, aren't I? I'm just smooth. No, I think for Conor, if he wins, it helps keep him relevant. It helps still make him money in the fight game an available and possible thing. It helps with the advertisement, the kind of endorsements, everything like that. The appeal of Conor would stick around if he can defeat Dustin after getting stopped himself, and it would definitely help Conor. But Conor's sold that remain. Gustav, I know he'll do Conor things, and he'll kind of get away with it. He's got a bit, but he's just sold those shares, hasn't he? In his whiskey company, he's made like an astronomical amount. I'm not being funny. He talks about being hungry for the mate. If you put 100 million quid, not even like as much as he's had. If you put 100 million quid in my account, I tell you what, my motivation to get up and train and bust my bollocks off, I'll be starting to train about 2:00 in the afternoon because first thing in the morning, I couldn't give a fuck. I'm rich. I don't care. I'll do what I want when I want. And for Conor, I think they've had the third. Is his 3rd child just been born as well? He's just had the 3rd child. It does change you being a parent as well. Everything you look at things different, you see things different. You watch him, living up and training and everything. Man, I just NBC, fuck it, Conor go box one of those Paul bros if you lose. yeah. Do you know what though? Do not be surprised if he loses to Dustin Poirier. I think he'd take a Logan fight in a heartbeat just to make some money, make a cheap bit of money, and off he goes to help boost himself up again. But Tyron Woodley might do that. Tyron might absolutely spark Paul out and win, even though weirdly Woodley's not bothered throwing his hands for the past 21 rounds, is it, fighting? So I'd be surprised if he does bloody throw his hands again. It'd be nice if he did because he hits like a rocket. So yeah, that's why I think Conor will go. I think if he wins, he can stay relevant a little bit. I don't think he might get a title fight against Chandler, which is weird to think. But if he loses, man, who cares, man? He's Conor McGregor. He's minted. He's already done it. He's won the belts. He's never defended them. So again, for me, I always see him as he did well to win them, but I don't think he's a great champ. He's never defended them. So I don't ever look at Conor as like a great champion. I think Conor did great to be a champion. But no, everyone's different in their opinions. Like I say, odds. Woodson is -190 and Zalal +155. sounds about right with that one. Montana De La Rosa, minus 275. Lipski, plus 220. I like that dog money on Lipski. You know, she can stop the takedowns. De La Rosa's got nothing on her. Leavitt is minus 210. Puelles, plus 170. That sounds about right. Duško is minus 155. Rodrigues plus 130 money. I like the Rodrigues money straight away at plus 130. Maryna is minus 165. And Moroz, oh my gosh, she's plus 135. I like the veteran there for those odds. Honestly, I do. Alan Patrick is plus 235. Mason Jones, minus 300. That's an insane gap. Honestly, I would not be surprised if Alan Patrick got a win here. You know, just laid and prayed. So plus 235 is not a bad little stab there. Francisco Trinaldo is plus 190. Muslim Salikhov is minus 240. Sounds I'm okay with that. Trinaldo's a bit of a veteran. He could surprise things, but I go with that because he's obviously going to welterweight. Boser is minus 200. Latifi plus 160. I think minus 200 straight alone for Boser is a great odds. And I'd probably go straight for the minus 200. I think, you know, I'd say inside the distance. I don't know what the odds for that are, but I'd look at that. Makwan is minus 275. Kirk is plus 220. That's fair enough. I expect those kind of numbers, especially with a guy coming in short notice. Breeze, minus 250. Arroyo, plus 200. I don't agree with that. I think it should be a lot closer. Maybe I pick him. Ponzinibbio, plus 105. Miguel is minus 125. Good dog money there for Ponzi. I'd look at that money straight away. Roman is minus 140. Staropoulos plus 115. That's fair enough. Walt Harris plus 140. And Tybura is a minus 170. Okay, so 170 again, straight bet that. Or you could link up, who was it again? Boser and Tybura. You can link them up for a parlay. Rozenstruik minus 130. Sakai plus 110. I think come fight night, you might see that as a pick 'em. You know, it kind of nearly is anyway, but I think you definitely see those odds changing coming up to it. There you go. NBC, I do think Woodley wins that. If he loses, I'll have to ignore my phone for a while. I don't think I can handle it. Just go. Do you know what you do, bro? On Twitter, anyway, you can just mute. You can put his name like Logan Paul and mute it. Anyone mentions it, it just mutes it, and you never see it on your feed. So even if there's someone you follow that you like, let's say Ariane Hawani, right? You can mute that quote. So anytime he puts out a tweet, that tweet never shows, but it'll show all the other stuff like that you actually want to see. Do you think Charles Oliveira will keep winning the lightweight title for a while? Or do you think Justin will get it? Man. One of the things Justin's always said, he said it himself, he said he's not, you know, he's just war. He just wants war. And the problem is with war, when he fights the way he fights, it's dangerous. And he's obviously been with Trevor Whitman, and he's curbed it. He actually has curbed it. He's learned that he can't just go in there and stand toe-to-toe and expect to just last the battles. And he has changed the way his style of fighting. I think Charles Oliveira, though, Charles really fought his way to get that title after a long time in the UFC, fought a lot of guys. For me, I feel like Charles isn't done. I feel like he's got an insane skill record. You know, Charles Oliveira could definitely beat, Justin Gaethje because, you know, I'm not just thinking about the striking. I'm thinking, Dustin, sorry, bro. I thought you said Justin Gaethje. Dustin Poirier will get. I think Justin Gaethje could win. Don't get me wrong against Charles Oliveira. I think Dustin Poirier could beat Charles Oliveira. But then again, I think I'd have to do a bit more tape study off the top of my head. But looking at it, I think Charles has got a fair chance against anyone. The dude striking is always getting better, always improving. He absolutely murked Mike Chandler, right? And if you go on the ground, fuck that. You know what I mean? I'd rather be buried in a bloody casket with a bunch of live snakes next to me. You know what I mean? Honestly, Charles Oliveira off his back or on top is dangerous. He's just a horrible man to have grappling with you. And on the feet, you know, that's where I used to always think the advantage with Charles Oliveira was you were always a better striker. You know, you just had to hit him on the chin. He goes down. That weight cut to 145 was probably what was doing him in. And confidence, maybe thing, but then suddenly he just got this striking development. And he is now like a legitimate challenger in all fronts. He can strike, he can grapple. He doesn't care about wrestling. Doesn't give a monkey poo. He's like, cool, we'll go down. You got to avoid my triangles. Good luck with that. And if I can't triangle you, I'll just choke you. So, man, like you could have it is tough calls. It is hard, bro. It is hard. Like Thomas, it's a hard one to call, mate. Honestly, it's hard. And what you might see is like a mini little trilogy. What I like about the lightweight division as well, by the way, Thomas, is it's probably the best division. It's probably one of the. It's the most depth with fighters. There's more people who are 155ers. There's just so many guys in that division that you look at it and you think you could potentially have new champion. You know, you could have like 3 or 4 dudes who win the belt rotational over the next couple of years. They're all this. There's not much of a gap between them. Like Khabib's not there now, and with Khabib gone, you know, Makhachev isn't there yet getting a title shot. He's not there anyway to be getting a title shot. But Makhachev, you know, that dude could become a challenger at some point. So then you've got to contend against a guy who's got an insane grappling aspect, who's like another version of Khabib. You can throw that name in the mix, and then you go, right, well, how will Makhachev do against Charles Oliveira? Is he able to wrestle him and nullify that? We don't know. So, man, I don't know, mate. Honestly, I love it, though. I love the fact that I don't know. I can't sit there and confidently go, got to murk them all. Charles Oliveira, murk them all. I love that there's no... I don't have an answer on it. Makhachev will be champion in a few years. Thomas, that's what I mean. He's got a row of murderers in front of him at Makhachev to get to there. So that will help him anyway, get him ready for that title shot, provided he obviously wins. In MMA, there's no give and win. But I feel like he could do it. I definitely think he can get the win. So I would go with, you know, you got Oliveira, Gaethje, Mike Chandler might bounce back from it. Dustin Poirier, Islam Makhachev, you're already hitting 5 names. You know, that's... And there's more in that division than you can even count. There's probably potentially if they put all the runs together, you've got potentially up to 10 guys who are going to be chomping at the bits for a title shot. So it's hard, mate. It's hard to decide. But yeah, that's the picks this week. Thank you all for joining the conversation. Before I shoot off, here we go with the boom, boom, boom. For sure, the talent level and striking is above and beyond the other divisions. It's so exciting to watch. Like, I love watching the lightweight division develop because that's what I love about it. Like Charles Oliveira, probably no one, you know, would have thought 2 years ago he was going to get anywhere near a title fight, but he did it and he kicked ass and he looked great. I was made up for him. So yeah, I was buzzing for him. But next week, by the way, Big Willie's going to be back because, like you say, the Joe Rogan of podcasting is back. He's only here for pay-per-views. We have UFC 263. We have Adesanya getting the rematch against Vettori. You got Figueiredo against Maryna. Then you got Leon Edwards against Nate Diaz. You got Damian Maia, Belal Muhammad, Paul Craig against Jalal Hill, Drew Dober, Brad Riddell, Eric Anders against Darren Stewart at light heavyweight this time. Man, Murphy, Calderwood, Avulev against Daru. Oh my gosh, that fight card is sick. I'm going to start tape studying on that tomorrow. What do you think? The advantages and the Adesanya will fight against next fight. Now, I will tell you, Thomas, next week, when me and Will do the breakdown next week, I'm not going to say why. I'm not going to say anything. You have to tune in, Thomas, next week. Now, it'll probably be Monday. I'm going to give a little clue to you now, mate. Monday, we'll be doing it next week. UK time, 8 and 10, somewhere between 8 and 10. But you'll see it if you subscribe to the channel, you'll get the notification when we're going to do it, because you can do the little notification bell when we're going to go live. We do like a little scheduled premiere, so you'll get like a notification of it. But next week, bro, I'll talk about it. I'm tight-lipped now. But look after each other, take care of each other. And, oh, wait there. Combat Study. Hey, bro, Lipski upset of the night. I reckon, bro, I'm with you as well, Lipski. I'm picking Lipski too, bro. I'm with you as well, guys. Combat Study's a great guy. Put some great picks out there. But yeah, I love you all. Take care of each other. Hope you enjoy the fights this week. And just enjoy the violence and enjoy each other's comments and picks and lives. But so, love you all.